Oh, hi, it's your old buddy Zoo. And today, well, sir, I'm a little bit sad. I'm sad to tell you, the 557, it ain't what I thought it was gonna be. It ain't what it's cut out to be. It ain't what I wanted it to be. But, I don't know, if you want to stick around for another 20 minutes or so, take a whiz, get yourself situated, and you can watch me review the sadly disappointing Anbernic RG557. Dadgummit, I had high hopes for it. Well, sir, what do we have here? Of course, it's an Anbernic product. In the weirdest looking case I've ever seen. It's the Anbernic RG557. It comes in transparent purple and this beautiful white on white model. I tell you what, I kind of wish they would have done white as the bezel instead of the black. It would have been more seamless. But, oh well, can't win them all. And that's, sadly enough, going to be the theme of this review. You can't win them all, and Anbernic certainly didn't win them all with this one. Gary, let's put the stats on the screen while we kind of give this the grand tour. You have your power, your volume on top, a very heavy-duty fan on the top, your LB and RB, which sadly, very clicky. Don't like that. It's the only buttons I really don't like. Your triggers are fine. They're analog. Your face buttons are all quiet. Very, very good. These joysticks, we'll get there. Got your SD card on the bottom. You have your downward firing speakers on the bottom. You have your USB-C on the bottom. And finally, headphone jack on the bottom. I like that. And as you can see on the specs, this has a 5500 milliamp hour battery, which is pretty decent. Oh, and by the way, it kind of fast charges. It goes all the way to 27 watts. How do you like that? Going back to that case for a minute. Whew. This is the new case. The old case was Gucci, or so they tell me. I think it looks like Peanuts or Sonic the Hedgehog's eyes. But this new one, this is some sort of 1960s Iron Man mixed with Ronald McDonald, some sort of hybrid. It's absolutely batshit crazy, and honestly, I love it. We actually need more companies to do absurd stuff like this. Maybe go all in, like this iVolver switch case that looks like a DMG. It's stupid, and I love it. Now this is, for all intents and purposes, a carbon copy of the 556, which I loved. And all the face buttons, the D-pad, the shoulders, except for these LB buttons, are loud, but you know, they were loud in the old one. But I mean, everything is great. The D-pad, it's not the most precise, but I like it. It feels kind of like an old SNES D-pad, kind of mushy, not 100% precision, but it's still really, really solid. This is also one of the most comfortable handhelds I've ever used, same as the 556. It's perfectly shaped for my hands with these dual shock style butt cheeks, and I honestly have no notes on the overall shape. Unfortunately, I got a lot of notes on the joysticks. So if you remember my hype video a week or two ago, I was worried that these joysticks would be the same as the ones in the 556, which, as we all remember, had cardinal snapping. That's not a huge deal on a $50 handheld with a 3.5-inch screen. It's a big problem on something big and $200-ish that can play more modern games. I'm happy to report, try to draw a heart for you, and a flower over here. Oh, look at that. I'm happy to report that these sticks do not have cardinal snapping. Woo, I can go wherever I want. The only problem is they are very, very tiny. The monkey's paw was in full effect when we asked for better sticks, I guess. Now, these joysticks are certainly small, and they don't jut out and get caught or, ripped out like my Odin 2 Portal. I get the damn thumbstick ripped off all the time. And dare I say it, they make this handheld more portable. But all that being said, if you're gonna have a big honking handheld with a 5.5-inch screen and big dual shock butt cheeks, just go all in. We don't need low profile sticks on something that only a lunatic, Stubbs, is gonna try to throw in their side pocket. I mean, the sticks are okay. They just could have been a lot better. One cool thing though is that these are capacitive sticks, so there's no magnets. They don't drift like Joy-Cons, but they don't use Hall effect to achieve this, so they're less susceptible to electromagnetic interference. They're supposedly super sensitive and accurate, but again, very, very small, almost comically so. Now, we did find out that Anbernic is shipping custom caps for these sticks with the production models, So that might alleviate some of the issues with these being too short, but it's still just an odd call. Speaking of my Odin 2 portal where the stick rips off, let's do some comparisons. Our first comparison here is with the original 556, and as you can see, it is it's the same handheld. It's the same handheld, just with different joysticks and different guts. The 556, for whatever reason, it feels heavier to me. The 557, it's more balanced, it's lighter. I like that. Now our next main comparison, and we're gonna go and even do a dedicated video on the RP5 versus the 557. So of course, the RP5, and you see same screen, but the RP5 is definitely a little bit smaller. It doesn't have those butt cheeks to go all the way down. It's not as comfortable, to me at least, because it doesn't have the handles, but everything else about this, I think the comparison video is going to show that maybe the RP5 is better, which is funny because the 556 was better than the Retroid Pocket 4. Another comparison here is my PocketAir from Neo. This is actually very similar to the RP5, a little bit wider, but again, that same 5.5 inch screen and a similar kind of setup. These sticks are roof stoof, very limited range of motion. These ones, you can tell, they feel a lot better. Also, they made a deliberate color choice to have this as grandma's old smoke-stained Japanese Nintendo, and I like that, but I do like the white on white. And then finally, to give you another comparison, and look, the damn sticks came off. These heads come off every single opportunity. And the Odin 2 Portal has this giant 7-inch screen, and it also is missing DualShock handles. I feel like more handheld manufacturers just curve it down like a DualShock. That's super ergonomic. Everyone thinks this is a super ergonomic handheld. Just taper it down like that. Take my advice for free. Maybe throw out, hey, Zoo had a good idea somewhere in the credits, but just take my advice. Oh, and heck, just for fun, here's the Odin 2 Mini, another whiteout. The Odin 2 Mini, I just said, give it handles, give it butt cheeks. The Odin 2 Mini, for whatever reason, is weirdly ergonomic to me. I think it's because of how extreme the curve is. But this is an example of one of these mid-size to large-size handhelds that doesn't have the DualShock on the bottom, but I still really like it. Mwah. Now, the 557 has a beautiful 5.5-inch 1080p AMOLED screen, and in most situations, it's very vibrant and crisp and nice. It gets very bright, and it also gets very, very dim. You can barely even see that. This is a plus, a huge plus for bedtime gaming. However, the super low brightness mode might be more of a negative than a positive because some early reviews and my review now is going to show that this has PWM flickering. Let's get to like 30% and put it on a white screen. You can really see the camera picking it up. There's weird waves. So PWM, if you're not aware, stands for pulse width modulation. And it's not a fancy term for space lasers on your Star Trek program. It's actually how some OLED screens handle brightness. Instead of using a true backlight, some OLED panels will essentially turn the pixels off and on at a crazy high rate to create the illusion of 50% or 10% brightness. If it's really bad, you can see it with the naked eye. But even if you can't see it, like I can't see it on here, you can see it on the camera, but I'm not picking it up with my eyes. Even if you can't perceive it, your eyes still perceive it. But some people can get real bad headaches if they use devices with this level of PWM. So we're going to lower the brightness a little more. All right, are we picking that up on the camera? Oh yeah, it's like an old CRT TV. And that's what it is. And you see here, you can kind of bump it up. That's about 70%. It's not as perceivable, and full brightness, not even the camera's picking it up. Now again, I'm not seeing any of it with my naked eye. Just for fun, let's turn the Retroid Pocket 5 on, set it to similar high, medium, and low brightnesses, and see what happens here. So we're at max brightness. We're not picking up anything. Let's go to medium brightness. Are you picking anything up, Gary? Not really. And let's see what happens if we go all the way down. You can barely see that. I don't see it with my eye. I don't really see it on the camera. So you can see that the Retroid Pocket 5 definitely has this thing beat when it comes to pulse width modulation. Say that 17 times in a row. And then really, to test things out, let's see if it was even present in the 556. You would have thought they used the same panel. Maybe they didn't. All right, so the 556, we are at max brightness. Not super noticeable. Let's take her down to 50. There's, yep. It was on this one too. And all the way down. That's roof stoof. So I mean, maybe they did use the same panel and we just really didn't notice it. Oh well. Now the 557 comes with this program called RixelHK, and it lets you download games. Talk about flying too close to the sun. You know, there's some puritanical retro game enthusiasts out there that rigorously back up their entire physical collection and have absolutely never obtained a backup copy of a game they didn't own. Good for you. The other 99% of us live in a gray area. Now, maybe we have a bunch of these devices and we've copied files from SD cards to hard drives and we have ourselves a collection. Maybe we sail the high seas. Who knows? What I know is that it's kind of hard to get on a moral high horse when we're using devices that are designed to emulate old game consoles and handhelds. Now, for some people, the addition of an app like this is a bridge too far, but for other people, it might be significantly easier than going through a myriad of old carts and flashing their own ROMs. And that's really all I got to say about that. Let's talk about price for a second, because we originally reported this being a little over $200, but the official price is now, I'm being told, $250 USD, with a pre-order price of $235, good for the first 48 hours. Now, if you weren't 100% locked in on the old 556 form factor, maybe wait and see what happens with tariffs or eventual sales or third-party shippers. I know Go Game Geek had an absurd price on the 556 last year, so maybe we'll see another good sale. I mean, who knows? The tariffs could go away tomorrow. I just saw something on the news that, we're going to renegotiate with China, so who knows? I will tell you that the 556 was one of the most comfortable handhelds I've ever used. Not like of last year, but period. And the only thing limiting it was the processor and the cardinal snappings. This fixes both, although not to the level that I would like. So I guess just take it for what it's worth. And speaking of tariffs, we might not actually be able to get this in the American market for a while if the current trends hold. The tariff deadlines are basically over, and unless Anbernic offloaded thousands and thousands of these to their US warehouses before the fact, you might not even be able to buy it if you're in the US. We'll see. Like I said, I just saw something on the news. Maybe they're going to cancel them. Who knows? It changes every day, so we'll see. You know what else we're going to see? A long-form gameplay showcase. Just right off the bat, assume anything 32-bit and below is going to play flawlessly at whatever resolution you want, with whatever shader you want, within reason. Don't try to stack like 5 different super complicated CRT shaders on top of each other. It'd probably crash a supercomputer, let alone this. Now, PS2 works really, really well with the Aether SX version that this came with. I can get, say, God of War 2 running smoothly at 3x. Get dunked on, Griffin. Whoa, do a barrel roll. I played God of War for probably a good hour and a half, and it never really experienced too much of a slowdown at 3x. Other games like Grand Theft Auto Vice City will run at 3x up until you get yourself into a real serious situation with the police. See, we're running here at 3x, 100%, but once we start to get turned around and shooting at these police officers, or heck, let's steal this car. Excuse me, I really need this car. Starts to get a little chuggy, I can feel it. Shoot! Stay on the road, Zoo. Oh, there's a helicopter. But otherwise, I mean, really, really good PS2 performance on here. I might do a whole PS2 showcase if you want, but suffice to say, I don't have a lot of qualms with PS2. There's a couple games that don't run. Whoa! Like Outrun 2006. See? Outrun 2006. It runs really, really poorly. So let's try to make this work. So we're gonna probably not run it at 3x. Let's take it down to native, and we're gonna set underclocking. Let's do -3 and maximum underclock. And surprise, surprise, it runs a little better. And I mean, this game is really, really hard to emulate to begin with. So the fact that we get it to run, it's kind of good. Let's crank the speakers up here. I have no issues with the speakers. I feel like they're pretty solid. They're downward firing. I think some people have complained that maybe they're muffling with their hands. I don't know. I haven't encountered too many issues. Whee! However, I normally play with headphones on or with the volume down low, so your mileage may vary. Let's go over to GameCube. Now, the version of Dolphin this shipped with was running like absolute garbage. It was super, super old, so I deleted it, and I loaded the latest version from the Play Store, and now we're getting games running at 3x or 2x, even stuff like Rogue Leader. Just to verify, we are running this OpenGL at 2x resolution, 720p. And this is a game that is notoriously hard to emulate. Now, you get little dips when the shaders are trying to populate, but once they cache a little bit, it plays fine. Some dips, but it runs a lot better the longer you play it once all the shaders have a chance to cache. Where'd you go? We'll go get the TIE fighters. Where are they? Steady. Oops. The only outlier I found was Super Mario Sunshine, which ran really rough at 2x, and it was only playable at native resolution, which is kind of weird. So this is running native, and even at native, it's still hovering around 30. And this isn't like a super, super difficult game to play. It just runs like crap on here, which is kind of weird. Good job, Mario. 3DS was kind of a struggle on here with the preloaded emulators. I ended up running Citra in addition to the Mandarin that it's shipped with, and Mandarin runs most everything at 2x or 3x, but for a game like Fire Emblem Shadows of Valentia, I ended up going back to Citra because, see, it just runs really, really poorly on Mandarin. Ugh. Compared to Citra,
look over there. They have an archer. He can strike from a distance, so we must plan our approach. You can't touch me!
and oh, by the way, this is running at 2x, and it's doing fine, where Mandarin was just kind of chugging along. Kind of weird. But then on the other side, a game like Xenoblade Chronicles X here runs fine on Mandarin, and we're running at 2x native. It's just weird. It's weird, and it's inconsistent. And it's not the case on something like the RP5, which is kind of a bummer. Now, Vita on here, it all comes down to emulator compatibility. If Vita 3K will run the game, it's going to run well, like Persona 4 Golden here. This is a really smooth experience. Just bebopping around town. It's very smooth. It's just, it looks very nice. What's going on over here? Oh, I shouldn't wander off. Let's talk to this guy. Now, WiiU is where the 557 just falls apart, and it's down to the Mali GPU. Since there are no third-party drivers for this, like you'd have for a Snapdragon-based device, you run into weird issues. You see here, some of these lower-tier WiiU games, they play fine. I'm getting 60 FPS in Shovel Knight, which, I mean, shouldn't be too surprised. Other stuff like Tokyo Mirage Sessions, it loads and everything seems like it's running okay, but, like, people don't have faces. There are weird issues. Like, look. Where's the rest of my head? It's kind of odd. Someone's having a seizure over here. Hello? Let's touch it. Ah! And in other games, like Wind Waker HD, it looks beautiful. It looks like it's about to go. Like, oh, good, we're going to have a good time. And then nothing happens, and it's just a slideshow. And then once you get past all this, you get to the game, it's just a big red screen. It's not great. You can hear the fan just running like crazy, trying to keep up with this. Oh, neat. Just a bright neon red screen. I wonder if we lower the brightness, if you can pick up some of that pulse width stuff. Can you see it? Anyway, Wii U is really, really mixed bag. I don't want to go too crazy on Switch stuff, but it is a little better than Wii U just because the emulation is more mature, but it's still rough. So yeah, Hollow Knight runs on here okay, but I mean, it's Hollow Knight. Everything above something like these indie games, it's just a combination of lowering your expectations, lowering the resolution, and accepting sacrifices. And again, I mean, this is a $250 handheld. You shouldn't have to make this many sacrifices. I mean, we knew it going in, but I was hoping we'd be able to push through a bit more just with the raw power of the Dimensity 8300 and 12 gigabytes of RAM. But alas, Switch emulation on here. Now, I will say with Wi-Fi 6E on here, the 557 is an excellent streaming handheld as long as you've got solid internet access. Even in the back of my basement here, where coverage is less than ideal, I get really smooth gameplay. Bebopping around in Oblivion, trying to find Captain Picard. Where'd he go? Hello? Emperor Picard? Help has arrived. Hey, what's up? It's just me. It's just me. Relax. Good lord. Ah! Hey, stay away from him, Lord Zed. I'm even confident using this to play sports games on GamePass without worrying that I'm going to lag myself into an interception. Excuse me while I beat the crap out of Oregon. And let's finish up this showcase here with a little bit of Android gaming. And there's a part of me that thinks all this emulation stuff is just slapped onto the 557 as a cover. Cover for the fact that Anbernic wanted to make a Genshin Impact machine without being called Weebs. This thing dominates Android games, including Genshin Impact. Let's go to the settings here. I got, good lord, I think it's maxed on everything. We are at highest resolution, highest quality, high everything, 60 FPS, just maxed out, overclocked. It says right there, overclocked. And it is silky, silky smooth. Whee! Now, some games like Call of Duty don't work right now. It's because the anti-cheat stuff built into Google Play doesn't know what the hell this thing is. So that's an issue. But if Call of Duty isn't really your thing, or if Anbernic or someone fixes that problem, the 557 could be a dedicated Android gaming machine. It's really impressive just playing this game. Especially since with all this stuff cranked up, this looks like a super high-res Switch game. It looks like a PS4 game, honestly. Whee! Just skip through the town. Yay! Well, Gary, clock on the wall says it's time for What Did We Learn? And we learned the 557 it's not all the way there. It has some great features. It's got some great ergonomics. It's got a more powerful chip. It has improved joysticks. All the stuff we wanted them to fix, they fix, but it's just kind of especially when you got stuff like the Retroid Pocket 5. Now, I am working on an RP5 versus a 557 direct comparison video, and I already grabbed some suggestions from your previous comments, but please let me know what games you want me to test for PS2, GameCube, 3DS, whatever. Some people have suggested some PS2 games that run like crap even on the Odin 2, so don't suggest those ones. I don't know that it's super beneficial to show something running at 12 FPS versus 15 FPS, because they both run like trash. Now, the 557 coming in at $250, $235 for the first 2 days, but coming in at $250, it's going to be a big deal for some people. The Just Get a Steam Deck bros will let you know that the base Steam Deck is $400. Odin 2 stands will definitely let you know that the Odin 2 base model is $299, and then you got Retroid Gals, I guess, for inclusivity's sake. Retroid Gals will tell you that the Flip is $200 and the RP5 is $220. So the 557 isn't exactly all alone on a price island. You got a lot of other options out there, and there are flaws besides price. This chipset has more raw power than the Retroid options, but far less driver support, which you can see in the GameCube, WiiU, 3DS, Switch, maybe even some of the PS2. You're also getting these tiny joysticks. They honestly don't bother me that much the more that I've used it, but I can see how a lot of people are going to be annoyed at this. There's also some PWM happening on an otherwise excellent screen, and I wasn't really able to pin it down, didn't show up during recording, but I honestly suspect there's a memory leak somewhere in this build. When I was doing off-camera testing and getting games past the intro stages, I kept running into issues where performance would slowly get worse, and a couple different emulators started crashing. If I reset the handheld, it went away. So I don't know if anyone else has seen this. Maybe it's just this unit. Maybe it's that I'm one of the first ones to do more of a deeper dive. Who knows? If it is a real issue, maybe it can get fixed with a patch and they can actually improve stability, which is what they love to do on all the patches. But they might actually need to do it on this one. When it all comes down to it, I really wanted to love the 557. Now I did love the 556, and all Anbernic had to do was fix two things. They did fix the two things, but in a weird and unsatisfying way. The sticks are good, but they're small and they're kind of odd. That's not a huge deal. Now what is a huge deal is the chip. By going with a Dimensity chip, even a super powerful one, they've basically boxed themselves out of the 2025 Android emulation scene. Now this thing crushes native Android gaming, to the point where Genshin Impact here looks kind of like a Switch 2 game, but it fumbles most of the emulation stuff. It's better than the 556, but not by enough. If this was the 556 and it came out last year, it would be amazing. But it's not 2024. It's 2025. And we got Snapdragons coming out the wazoo. And the 557 is just, it's just not enough. And that bums me out. Irrespective of the tariffs and price changes and all the other stuff, the 557 just ain't it. And that's sad. If you're sad, why not commiserate with me by liking and subscribing and all that jazz? We got a couple dozen new videos coming down the pike, from brand new devices you may not be able to actually buy, to ways to maximize the devices you already do have. We're not going to run out of videos anytime soon, that's for sure. So stick with us, and we'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.